What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Global Speedrun Association with the Super Mario Odyssey any percent tournament losers round 3. This one is going to be a decider between TiloTech and Sefaro, and I'm joined by Padronis on co-commentary for this exciting race. What's up, Padronis?
Hi, I'm doing really good today. How about you?
I'm doing pretty solid as well. I mean, we are getting closer to the weekend. This is always a reason to be happy, but I'm also pretty happy because we get to commentate this race, and this race has the potential to be very close. We have Sefaro and TiloTech both around. I think Seth actually got a 102 recently, a high one. Tylo getting a 103 in one of our races here. So definitely pretty close as far as skill level goes. Anything can happen. And
yeah, I wanted to say, I looked up their race times, and they've both gotten 103s. Tyler's was a PB, but Sefaro also got a 103, and they've both gotten 106s. So there's a pretty decent spread across both ends of the spectrum here. So if they meet up somewhere in the middle, we could see this really go either way. Don't let that 1 minute PB gap fool you.
Nah, exactly. That is still the case. And it's actually interesting to bring this up because I feel like there's a big difference between the highest level players, like the top world record contenders right now, and very good players that are around in this 102, 103 skill level. And what basically is the biggest difference between them is the consistency. It's just fair to say. Like, if someone with a 103 gets a 106 in a race, that can happen. That happens all the time. But for someone with a 100 or a 101, it's rarely seen that they get a time like that.
Yeah, Chaos probably has a 100 average at this point. I think he does, actually.
I'm pretty sure. And that's what I'm saying. Like, the potential for I guess you would call it an upset if Tyler was to take this win, but is it really though? Because I mean, it would be, I guess, but is it really though? Because this skill level just basically, even though these runners are incredible, upsets probably happen most of the time in this kind of skill level.
Yeah, it's one of those upsets where, yeah, sure, you kind of call it an upset because, you look at the stats, the terminology, yeah, you would say Sefaro is the favorite, but then it's like, if Tyler wins, would it really be that much of a shock? He's really been putting in the work in Odyssey.
Exactly.
They both, whoever wins this will have to earn it, is I guess what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely, and all the things will matter, not only the small movement optimizations, but once again, if we are looking at the skill level like this, the thing that I'm most scared about in a race like this is obviously Wooded by far, because even though these guys have the potential to go through Nutclip with any issues, if anything, that's that one thing that separates them from having high and clean consistency and having a just decent run, because obviously that Wooded reroad saving 30 seconds if you do get it.
Yeah.
Definitely big
of
one
course,
on that.
it's not even just the Nutclip, it's the out of bounds movement as well, I think, is even more deadly.
Surely. The unfortunate thing with the spin throw, they're trying to buffer a spin pound, not getting that one, but actually way cleaner rolls here, making it to the switch way earlier than, not way earlier, but compared between Seth and him, he hit the switch a little bit earlier there, so just having cleaner rolls, cleaner movement.
And I will probably see them both go for left side. At this level, you'd probably expect them to both hit it, but oh wait, not for a little while yet. For the frog room.
Yeah,
but
frog room first. Nothing too interesting happening in here, but I will pretty much guarantee. Wait, actually, I'm not completely sure because I brought up previously, and Tylo definitely did grind this game a lot, so he has been adding all of the little strats. But back in the day when I was commentating TiloTech stuff, he used to actually go for all of the safe strats, and right side might be one of them. I do think he's gonna try left side though. It looks like he will.
Here he goes. Sefaro having a bit of trouble with the setup here.
Unintentionally wall jumping, missing the trick entirely. That is definitely not what he wanted.
Yeah, looks like a bit of a safer topper strat at the very least.
Yeah, either that or a backup, because definitely not getting the fastest hits in. But missing left side is such a big deal. Sefaro also struggling just a little bit to hit topper on the head there. But yeah, missing left side is such a big deal. If you don't go for the strat at all and just go for a clean right side approach, you'd lose around 2.5 seconds versus the left side. But if you miss and fall, that actually loses you around 5 to 7 seconds. Some way bigger amount, obviously.
Yeah, so TiloTech with a 226, 227 cap. See Sefaro probably about 7 or 8 seconds behind that. And, you know, Cascade will probably see the lead be maintained. You could see it all, like, come apart in sand, though.
Yeah, and that's, by the way, not what it looked like in the past, because the first moon skip, which looks so easy now, you just long jump across the water there, and then you time that cap dive to get a wall
Tylo
jump.
not do the up throw? Bonk as well. Okay, this is going to lose him some time over Sefaro, going for his own FMS.
Okay, I was holding on to my breath there for a little bit, because if you mess up the first moon skip move, suddenly the backup gets pretty strange. But Seth getting it first try, buffering the spin, and Tylo really having issues. Really having issues to get back up there, not being able to climb that wall, but still maintaining a little bit of a lead going into the Mother Brutal fight. Let's see if Seth can get that Dino skip, but other than that, they should be done with at least the harder part of Cascade.
Yeah, I remember, like, you know, this wet FMS is such a, you know, relief for runners, you know, to not have to reset in Cascade all day, especially because you're trying to get such an optimal exit at the highest level that, you know, you can allow a lot more runs to go into sand and wooded with the chance that, you know, the nut clip, the out of bounds, and all the crazy stuff.
Wow, TiloTech actually doing quite a swaggy strat there. Usually you see runners like have their cap out and basically hover their cap close to the chain jump, but Tylo is just backflipping, throwing his cap while he's in the air and then timing those inputs. That's actually something I've never seen before. Pretty
unique.
Think
it's faster than?
It probably can't be really like sped up the way you hit the chain jump, but it's just an interesting approach to the idea.
For sure.
But yeah, Tylo maintaining the lead through the fight, no missed cycles, which is obviously the one thing that can lose quite a bit of time in the fight. Now it's going to be up to chest clip and just a clean ending section of Cascade.
Yeah. Not a whole lot to talk about right here, just going for a pretty basic set of movement to get this moon. Although people can bomb, has happened.
Has happened. One thing that's actually notable to say, if you're a little bit slow there, I'm not sure if it's going to happen to Tyler, but if you're a little bit slow, the chain shot can hit the block, which makes the game kind of lag a little bit. And that can mess with your chest clip setup, but Tylo getting it without any issues. Let's see if Seth...
No, from Seth. Okay, so a bit of a shaky start. He's going to have to really overcome the mental block in this, where he's starting out here. See if he can kind of reset from segment to segment and maybe kind of pull out a clean sand.
Ending up actually having to go for a wall jump there, which even loses a little bit more time. This is obviously still totally fine, but it's not the fastest backup you can do. You can actually skip that wall jump entirely, but it is pretty tight on timing. Tylo will be happy about that one, though, getting that chest slip and not having to deal with any of that.
Yeah, I think we'll probably see in sand, you know, if he can hold on to the lead here. It's pretty big, but, like, it's really so much that can go wrong here. And I think, you know, Sefaro might have a bit more experience here at the high level. You said TiloTech goes for a lot of safe strats, you know. I don't really know what Sefaro would do specifically. Maybe, like, TiloTech will do a single claim, so Sefaro will do double, you know, something like that could happen. Yeah. I don't really know.
I am assuming, though, that we will be seeing 2 single clips. It is still interesting to bring that up because, as I said earlier, maybe even like 2 months ago, Tylo wouldn't even mess with any swing slips at all, and Sefaro has been doing that for a long time, so this might be something that he's more seasoned at or more experienced with, because obviously if you do miss a lot of these roll cancel clips, suddenly time just gets eaten. But so far this first movement looked clean for Tylo. Seth needs to match that. Right now he's basically playing on Tylo, making a mistake here, and Sandwich, there's a lot of windows. Obviously also the dram strat, which can lose you quite a bit of time if you miss it.
Yeah, I mean, we're only like that little pipe room of a difference behind, so what would you say that is, like 10 seconds, maybe a bit more or less?
Yeah, probably just a little bit on the higher end, but nothing big. I'd say missing the dram strat coming up, and Tylo once again missing that ground pound moon. People used to call this the hardest move in the game, obviously for a meme's sake, but it's actually really awkward to hit this ground pound move once you initially missed it, because suddenly you don't really know where to ground pound anymore.
Yeah, Tylo coming up here for his 4th moon of the kingdom, and going to be moving over to attempt the dram. Let's see what he's got. Sefaro, in the meantime, I think he had... Well, actually, no, that was pretty normal from Sefaro here.
Yeah.
TiloTech going to do the up throw. That looks good.
very smooth camera work there. Just basically slowly turning his camera around and ensuring that he was gonna get that capture warp. Sefaro, also very clean turnaround there. He should be good on that as well and gets it.
And there we go. Sefaro also doing pretty well for himself with that whole sequence of movements here. TiloTech going for a bit of a flutter here.
Yeah, TiloTech going for the good old attack helicopter strategy. Not the fastest you can go for, but definitely looking quite swaggy. But now he's coming up to that swing step section. And
he's gonna go for it. And first try from TiloTech here, grabbing that moon.
Not a issue for him at all, clipping through immediately. Let's see if Seth can match that, because obviously now it is going to be hard to get a first try swing step as well.
Okay, Sefaro trying to set it up here, but he gets it.
Second try, but the way he missed the first clip, definitely losing him quite a bit of time, sliding down the entire Sphinx. And Tylo's already out of that room, about to go to the bullet bill section of the kingdom.
Picking up quite a bit of coins in that room as well. TiloTech at 134. Sefaro going to be on 138, so pretty healthy.
That's not going to be an issue for them this run. You can basically tell as soon as they leave this room if coins are going to be any issue for them, but with 134 and even obviously 138, that shouldn't be an issue. You get 50 from this chest, and there's potentially 2 boss fights depending. There's either 2 or... Wow, okay, Tylo going for that very interesting jack skip. Really not sure why people go for that. It just makes it so much more tight, but I guess that's just the way they learned it.
Okay. I shouldn't have actually reacted that much, but it looked like he was not going to make it with the dive. I don't know, just my depth perception was off.
No, I can see that.
From the cactus.
I can see that in Seth, just because of that, opting for the long jump there. And this is actually underrated. If you start learning this game and go for the Jaxi skip, you get past the barrier of actually skipping like the Jaxi section to get up top. But it's potentially even harder to get back down fast enough without like just plunging into the poison.
Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense here. TiloTech still on a pretty nice bird cycle here. Sefaro gonna be early as well. And let's see what he does for notes. Okay, no, he fell off of the tree here. Okay, that's gonna...
He will make it back up in time, but
yeah.
I'm not sure if I like that strat. He basically like did a spin throw and then flung himself up top. We'll see what Seth is gonna go, because optimally you want to basically cancel the flicking animation with a spin throw Seth, having a little bit of a cleaner notes.
Get it perfectly with the one spin throw, but ground pound is under the moon as well. Definitely saving some time over TiloTech here on the roll to the Odyssey. I'm gonna be heading into lake, probably one of the slower sections. And at the high level, you know, it's all about that lake clip nowadays, but not gonna be coming out in this race. I would almost put money on it. I don't think we mentioned by GG yet.
Wow, that's interway. Insane. Yeah, if we're talking about betting, obviously you guys might want to check out our sponsor YGG through the panel below the stream. If you want to bet some money on your favorite speedrunners, you can do it there at the website through our referral link, obviously making this tournament happen and sponsoring the prize pool. But as you brought up earlier, I doubt we are going to be seeing any lake clips, not just necessarily today, maybe later on, but at least not in this one.
No. I'm curious to see the bracket path for these people. Well, the winner of this will have to play Dansta, which will play the winner of Akon and Rhea. So it only gets harder from here, though, if you actually want to make a lower bracket run.
TiloTech using even another one of these attack helicopter strategies that is really his signature in today's race. Sometimes you just can't buffer the spin for quick enough. And Sefaro going for wooded first. I just realized what. Okay. Interesting.
I mean, it really doesn't matter, right? Just a single menu over, but...
It really doesn't matter at all. But on the other
on
the other hand, it is kind of an interesting choice. I'm not exactly sure why he would want to go there. I guess he wants to get Nutclip out of the way, which I can see that, but in a race it doesn't necessarily matter because you can't reset anyways.
Exactly. Yeah, so we're not going to be able to see them sync up until after Wooded/Lake. But we'll see if Sefaro can pull out a clean Wooded, you know. Like, this will kind of set the tone for what TiloTech is going to have to play to for the rest of this run, because if Sefaro has a clean Wooded, you know, TiloTech is going to have to put his A game on. But if not, then, you know, he might be able to play it a bit safer.
where we see what's going to happen up here. So this is looking like an easy clip for Sefaro. Let's see if you can actually go through the out-of-bounds section. As we brought up earlier, this is potentially the hardest part of the entire thing. And Seth actually falling down. Oh no!
Oh, that's really bad.
Woo! Okay, that's still fine.
Made it out though.
Actually.
He didn't die.
Like, yeah, no, he wouldn't have died. He would have actually fallen into the deep woods if he fell there. So really crucial for him to save that. But as you brought up earlier, now TiloTech is going to have a really kind of relaxing wooded. All he needs to do is get through that out-of-bounds section, and he's going to be saving a massive amount of time. Seth now needs to go for the very old wooded road, where you're going to pipe wave first and fight the boss at the very end.
Yeah, this is huge. You know, I haven't seen people have to do this very much, but in the race you have no other option.
Man, this is what we dealt with for months. And even though this route back in the day was already really hard, just doing it now feels so bad. Because the pipeway is obviously fine, it's pretty fast moves, but after pipeway, climbing all the way back up to the maze makes this route awful.
Yeah, I can really see how, like, that's just like kind of an agonizing, like, what is it, like maybe like 10 or 15 seconds to get up there.
Yeah, that's like the biggest part. You see they have like backflip awkwardly here. And optimally you even need to put your camera up. Seth doing it here to basically spawn in the uproot a little bit quicker. This way the uproot is going to be here for him. So playing that fine, he was definitely
At least he's
one
so
of the...
sharp with that old movement then.
Yeah, he's one of the season runners. He used to have like a 104 back when that was already a thing. So definitely being very solid with that old movement. But this is going to be big, so if Tylo does get the nut clip here, it's going to be a big advantage for him.
Missing the triple jump from the poison. You know, could have avoided it if he just went for the tree, like you were theorizing.
True. Yeah, people should start doing that. Goyuya actually, one of the first runners that has that in his current PB, a Japanese runner that tends to literally go for everything. So definitely working on that one already.
Isn't Goyuya like 15, 14?
Yeah, he was probably 14 actually. Yeah, he's really young, but he's obviously an insane player.
Yeah, it's kind of cool how in speedrunning you really don't know, and it doesn't even matter. You know, are you good at the game? And you can be like 15, you can be 30, and you can still be good.
One thing that is consistent though, that he is playing the game a lot. Like he's posting clips all around the clock. But Sefaro, seeming like he can play this game pretty well as he gets that floor roads without any issues. But we do want to focus on TiloTech here because this is a huge chance for him to gain a pretty massive amount of time if he gets the clip.
Here we go.
Yeah, this should be fine as far as the clip is concerned.
Oh no!
I was right about to say it was kind of like on the right side. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I don't know enough to say like whether or not it looks good.
Yeah, usually you can kind of tell when the shadow like aligns with the wall, but he, like, probably the cap throw was a little bit slower because that's what it seemed like for me initially. But yeah, both of them having to go for the original wooded route, so this is going to be actually super interesting as this kingdom ends. But Seth falling down there.
Both taking a big knock by having to go through some pipeway early. You're gonna have to fight Spirit as well at the end.
Yeah.
As far as he's gonna go do now.
Sefaro is gonna be fighting that boss here. It is kind of nice for their coin count, but since Sefaro is already at 96,
don't people usually do a ground pound jump?
It doesn't really matter that much. All you really need to do is catch that cycle that Tylo just caught.
Oh,
and
no!
Actually, never mind.
Commentators curse being too soon. Limb Cube causing TiloTech to miss a whole lot of time down the flood pipeway. There's really nothing you can do about it if you miss the good cycle.
Yeah, it is up to the runner. You can do ground pounds, side flips, spin pounds. All you need to do is catch that cycle. But Tylo actually taking damage there, and that's massive. If everybody that does pipeway and like learns the game will realize every time they get like a good pipeway, suddenly their wooded is so much better. That's just because if you do fall there, miss the cycle, and take damage, you actually lose like 7 seconds. It doesn't even look that way, but it is crazy. Ooh, Tylo.
Okay.
Also going for that spin pound roll cancel. That seems like everybody's kind of going for that these days. That used to be a pretty exclusive thing to these players that kind of like went for all of the strats, but it does save quite a bit of time over the long jump over.
TiloTech here coming up to the story moon. We'll be doing the far road skip and heading into kind of the closing section of the wooded. Well, as far as leaving, still has leg to do, obviously. But I don't know if you just like turned in the last 3 minutes. No, it's not like a 3-minute lead.
Yeah, Definitely. It's still gonna be super interesting though. Especially with Flower Road Skip coming up here for Tylo. You need to land this trick obviously to kind of go past Wooded. And I think really the Kingdom only slows, especially with this road, only slows down once you enter the tower. But it looks like Tylo has no issues with Flower Road Skip. All he needs to do now is enter the tower.
Yeah, I think they kind of went blow for blow and Wooded here. Hitting good Flower Road Skip, missing the nut clip. Wait, well, Safaro had a good pipeway though, actually, so I take that back. I'll take with the ledge grab.
That was actually so close.
I mean, he would have been able to wall jump, right, if he didn't ledge grab?
No, he dived. He would have bombed. That's why I was scared. Like, if he actually, he could have easily hit the wall, then he would have bonked and died. And yeah, he would have been at the Piranha plant. That was crazy close.
Let's get a speedrun estimate chat here for some.
And yeah, that's actually why
gameplay from TiloTech. Oh no, TiloTech is not able to get up back to the top of the tower here. Onion, shaking game not on point today, I suppose.
Oh no. So the thing that actually got me so weirded out there is because he dove, I didn't expect him to get a ledge grip. I don't even know how that happened. I guess he like rolled and then slid back down because usually you can't do anything out of a dive other than land. But for some reason he got that ledge grip. I don't even know how he did that, but I guess it worked out well for him taking damage there at Speward. Not the end of the world.
We're gonna have to ask people and know how that happened. Let us know in the chat. Far here. Getting through the rest of his Lake Kingdom. And go fight Rango. Not too much to report from his end of things. TiloTech fighting Spirit now. Just a couple brutal bashings going on here around the 19-minute mark.
The speed police coming in clutch.
Yeah, they're always out on me. Like,
yeah,
I don't know what I ever did. I suck.
Nah, I mean, it's obvious these guys are definitely still doing well even after these missed attempts. But as I say that, the double damage boss fight for Tylo. Ooh, Seth actually out 2 HP
really letting down today.
Making that hit work. Wow. Okay, this is actually super interesting. It looks like Tylo is still holding onto a pretty confident lead after the kingdom here, after both kingdoms. But both of them definitely not super happy with Lake and Wooded respectively.
Mm-hmm. So now we're kind of coming into the middle section of this game. You know, Wooded's over, but there's a lot more left. TiloTech not really with enough to kind of rest easy on. You know, he's got to keep playing well. You know, Wooded, maybe he probably doesn't know if Safar made the same mistakes. I don't know if he's watching the restream, but you know, he's got to play hard, and like it probably means a lot to him as well. I actually found out that he went on the first round of both of the other GSA tournaments in the Odd Any % and the Triple Bingo. He's actually got. I don't. Wait, did he go on the first round of World Peace? I didn't really check.
I'm not entirely sure if he actually got out of it, but it is definitely obviously interesting to bring up that this is a losers match, so whoever loses this will actually be knocked out of the tournament, so definitely high stakes. And I think especially if you are like kind of nervous, and that easily happens after these mistakes at the very end at Wooded here, this fight can be a little bit more sketchy than it usually is, especially if you want to time these head grabs perfectly.
Yeah, that's true. You know, both these runners are definitely probably feeling the pressure right now.
Absolutely. Cloud gives you a little bit of a breather. You still need to be on point with your inputs, because obviously if you miss anything, Bowser will take back his head and you'll end up losing, depending on the cycle, 8 to 12 seconds. But looks like Tylo is through and gets that last grab. Let's see if Seth can match that.
Yep. Giving Bowser the smackdown, knocking him into the cage. Got just one more cycle to hit from Safaro here, and then he'll be headed to Lost with TiloTech. Now, TiloTech was saying in the call, obviously you don't have a pre-race interview, but he was trying to like figure out like some different moons in Lost. I don't know if there's like any better routing to be found, but he was messing around within the pre-race. So let's see if that kind of pre-game practice can, you know, overcome maybe any mental uncertainty he's got.
Yeah, if you want to be certain mentally in any kingdom, it's surely Lost. Because no matter what mistake you can make, usually it leads into a death. There's this poison all over the floor. This bonk gladly not taking Tylo's life, but yeah, Lost is crazy. The moons we get are most likely the fastest ones, and they are so quick. On the highest level of play, like on the best theoretical time video, actually there's more time spent in moon grab animations than actually moving the character.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's how insane that kingdom is.
And TiloTech rolling through Lost though, perfect that bonk. Been going pretty smoothly. Probably letting that muscle memory take over. Going for this one, it looks pretty precarious. Oh no, Sefaro, what happened?
Oh, that's gonna be. It's gonna be the clutch backup.
Oh
Never
no,
mind.
he's fallen. And he's dead. Yeah, I have no idea what anyone would do in that situation.
Dude, he could have made the magical backup, dude. He was very close to a different moon there. He could have like grabbed that moon and maybe come up with a route on the fly. But missing that, not being obviously confident with that movement, makes him go all the way back up. And now he needs to fall back to the regular route, obviously losing quite the hefty amount of time. And
Sefaro with another bonk. Quite a few bonks in Lost already, but some proving deadly.
Yeah.
Also having to be a bit more careful with the butterfly, you know, can't get them on the normal timing. Sefaro, I mean, TiloTech not opting for the 3 fast moon in the cage, going down into the kind of little cavern.
This makes me wonder if he's actually watching the stream, because even though this isn't actually that much slower at all, but this would be the perfect strat to go for when you know you're actually in a comfortable lead, because it's so much easier to grab that moon that way and lose that 1 second, but instead just playing it safe.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I wonder if Sefaro will try to make up for it with some hot strats, you know, going for that massive triple jump without the hat.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure if he's going for the run. Sefaro also more the safe player, really working out how strats work before really implementing them into a full game run. But we'll see. This is a potential for him to save around a second or two if he plays that optimally, but looks like he's not gonna opt for it either. I really like the way he
helicopter there.
Yeah, that was actually a good use of the attack helicopter. Like, actually spin jumping inside of the cave there. I really liked it. Ooh, what? How didn't he bonk? That's...
I don't know what just happened there. I just saw, like, Mario's animation, like, change, and then
he slid down the wall, dude. How didn't he bonk there? I have no idea. These guys are avoiding bonks everywhere today.
I think they've both gotten away with one today, you know. TiloTech and Wooded, you know, Limcube a bit shocked. Sefaro... I mean, he did die, but, like, I guess it's be a much less costly of a death than the one he actually took, because it's right at the end. And anyway, TiloTech isn't Night Metro here. Will probably hold on to his considerable lead right now. But Day Metro is very difficult.
Cappy got stuck there at the bottom. No idea what Cappy was doing there, probably attacking the Goomba or something. But not the biggest deal, not losing time off of that. But we will see if luck is actually on their side in this kingdom, if anywhere. Interesting, super quick spin point there, which actually doesn't do much. He's probably going to be just a little bit early on that, on that elevator. Killing a little bit of time. You can't really speed up that room unless you go for crazy stuff that hasn't really been lapped. But yeah, all you need to focus on in this one, don't fall.
Oh, TiloTech having to get a second wall jump to get up to that chest. Alright, let's see this long jump. Looks pretty good. Not even much of a setup either. Just kind of YOLO it.
These guys are pretty confident with this one. Back then, when I was learning this game, this jump gave me nightmares because the camera was acting out so bad. And Cappy, once again, really cooperating, homing for the coin, instead of actually going towards that wire. But obviously not a big deal. Wiggler, though, is probably going to be interesting here. Tylo already missing some early shots. Tech on the mech. Great. Let's see if it's actually in his favor, though. These first shots didn't look too hot.
Tylo tank here.
TiloTech, Jesus Christ, I gotta leave the anyways, looks like Tylo is still fighting Make a Wiggler while Sefaro is climbing up the City Hall. But even though City Hall is scary, it's probably a good time to focus our eyes here on Tylo, because he does need to get that 2 cycles soon now.
Alright, let's see what kind of... Let's see what shot he's got here. Let's shoot out these fireballs, but... No, the RNG is a bit dependent. That looks like kind of a nasty pattern from the Wiggler here. Overlapping quite a bit for TiloTech.
Really
taking him a while to get these shots on the head. He's finally stopped, but okay, he'll get it done. A bit scary there.
Yeah, and exactly. like you said, these are the patterns you really don't want to see, especially if you kind of set up Wiggler in a way that you try to like get rid of some fireballs, and then the Wiggler exactly goes to the spot where the fireballs are still apparent, so things get really messy. But he was reacting well enough to it and ended up getting that 2-cycle.
Now we'll see Sefaro try to maybe save a little bit of time with TiloTech. You know, it's not like a huge mistake from him, but a bit of RNG and a bit of better shooting could definitely save him a few seconds.
Yeah, for sure. Sometimes it's actually not really that visible how much you can speed up this fight, but whenever you shoot the Wiggler before he's even stopping like his running animation, that's how a good 2-cycle looks. And Seth looking like, even though he is getting hit here, still getting a better pattern and reacting well enough. So probably saving a little bit here.
Getting to kind of spam the fire button. No kind of wild aiming necessary there.
And TiloTech is gonna come up to Scoot Clip here, which in these races has been proven to be pretty much of a decider. We've seen several seconds lost here. Let's see if Tylo can get that clip first try. He does.
Yeah, there he goes. Kind of showing off what you were saying about him definitely being a safe player. You know, not going for like a crazy drive-by.
Yeah, but to be fair, this is not how I remember Tylo. Like, I remember Tylo going for all of the super safe strats, but now he's been definitely working on his game. Like the way he's been doing that crazy spin, pound, roll cancel and wooded earlier. These are strats I would have never expected him to go for back in the day, but now playing up on that A game, contesting for, I mean, even go further into this tournament. And
yeah, I think that's really cool. You know, actually probably thinking about like where he's at and where he wants to be, trying to move up in the echelons of that any % leaderboard. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, right. And I do think if Tylo was to take this match, there's even a chance that he could advance even further.
Sefaro, a pretty wide miss on that scoop clip. He's gonna have to kind of reset his angle here. Going at it from the other side now. More spaghetti dropping out for Sefaro. He can't really get a grip. He's probably gonna take the RC card. No, he's trying to reset the proper angle.
I doubt that, but that's just awful to deal with. Whenever you miss school clip, there's really no perfect way to back it up. Sometimes you do get a lucky backup, but in this case, definitely not working out well for Sefaro, really losing a lot of time.
Just the way you're trying to take those turns around the cage, you know, it wasn't really clear like if he was gonna be able to like actually ride the edge exactly like he was trying to do anyway. So TiloTech up to even more of a lead than he was before. You know, Sefaro maybe not having his best game today. Can he turn it around? Yeah. It's not too late.
Yeah, I was going to bring up how Tylo potentially could even like advance further. Like, Dancer is an amazing high-level runner, but we've seen him also have some off days with his racing, and Tylo looks pretty consistent in this tournament, so he might even go further, like close to like the loser finals. We'll see where he can take this. But for now, obviously, he still needs to win this match, and even though he does have a pretty confident lead, this is far from over.
I think if it weren't for that missed nut clip, he'd be on PB pace for sure. You know, I haven't seen much out of him that would make me say like, oh, big mistake here, big mistake there. Like, it's been pretty solid.
Yeah, just wooded in general. Like him falling there in the tower a little bit and having some slight bombs. But other than that, like it just wooded. Like the rest has been looking pretty clean. Seth obviously having a very unfortunate loss, but this metro has been going well. He needs to keep up the pace though, because he's basically like relying on Tylo making a mistake, which is basically bound to happen in how long this race still is, with Bowser's, Snow, Luncheon all being on the plate.
Yeah, and TiloTech, it kind of depends if he knows if he's in the lead, what kind of strats he'll go for. But I'm really loving the way he's playing right now, with a lot of confidence. I think we'll have to see like if Sefaro will actually like kind of overcome this mental barrier here.
Yeah, very nice dive there from Tylo into that room, getting a nice cap throw to the lever, cleaning up that metro just nicely. He is going to be heading to Snow afterwards though, and we'll see how that goes with potentially Snowdrum coming up.
Yeah, swinging on those monkey bars to grab the final moon in this segment. Sefaro still got the top of the tower and just kind of those last few to close it out though. But I would say like all the hardest stuff in Metro is done for Sefaro as well.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. Especially after this moon, it depends. Sometimes people go for a spin pound here.
Oh, there he goes. Sefaro, as you called it, nails a spin pound, but misses the moon. Oh no, that's really bad. I was so impressed because that spin pound is not easy, or at least, you know, so I'm told how little space you actually have to pull it off. But Sefaro
Okay,
now
this
taking
was
quite
a
bit
little
of
bit
time
awkward.
to get that moon, unfortunately.
Yeah, the spin pound, actually, people have been finding setups for this. This used to be pretty hard, but now it is pretty guaranteed. But it's definitely still, apparently, hard to react to, because Seth not holding his angle nice enough to get that pool moon. But let's see, Snow coming up for TiloTech. Sefaro taking a bonk, they will still get the moon in time. This is a timer challenge, so if you mess around a little bit too much, the moon might just disappear. Sefaro really getting lightheaded now, bonking his head against everything he can see.
Maybe the city's just making him go a bit crazy. You know, he's got to try to get the demons out.
Yeah, I mean, Mario is not really used to this. This is an interesting place for him.
Yeah. Alright, so in Snow here, trying to explore Toad, going down to Severia. Probably not the most difficult until like the very end. You got a couple hard rooms and then you got Snow Jam. So Tyler knows he's so far ahead, he could even like skimp out on Snow Jam, but he'll probably give it a shot. If I had to guess, I could see a big reduction in actually the lead he's got over Sefaro here. He's as far as entering Snow now, Tyler's pretty far ahead, but he's got to keep it up.
It's going to be interesting though, because I feel like if he knows what pace he's on, yep, I was right about to say, if he knows what pace he's on, he just doesn't mess with it. I'm wondering, because I'm not sure if he does it in runs, but this would be the easiest way to lose your lead, going for Snow Jam without having 100% confidence on it. So just going for shop first and basically diminishing the possibilities of losing a lot of time here. I think that's a smart and respectable play. If Sefaro does go for Snow Jam and gets it first try, he's going to be saving around 10 seconds, 7 to 10 seconds, let's say 7, which is more realistic, over Tylo. But he needs to hit the trick, obviously.
Do you know, like, if in the past Tyler's window always watched the restream to know how he's doing?
Or yeah, I actually don't know.
Who, like, because like some people always watch and some people never watch. Like,
I guess there's arguments to be made, like, for both of these. In this case, it would have probably been pretty helpful to know how far Seth is, like how far he's actually ahead. But it might also be better to just not mess with it, just focus on yourself. But yeah, interesting dynamic here. But Tylo opting to not even try any Snow Jam ideas. Once again, this might be a thing that he doesn't even mess with in runs. I always say you do want to have confidence on the trick, especially like it's already hard, but if you are nervous, it gets even harder and suddenly things get very wonky.
He almost got that one spiny to stay on the course there. Would have been cool.
Which is actually optimal, yeah. That's something that doesn't even look that way, but since you get closer to the moon, the camera panning gets reduced and it's just a little bit more optimal.
Now, Sefaro on a bonk as well, trying to get into this side room. So a whole blowy Joey of difference between the two here. TiloTech coming down to pretty slippery, pretty precarious part here. You grab these Goombas. Sefaro, pretty decent fast cycle for the blowy Joeys.
Tylo not getting the optimal Goomba ING, in which you can basically move towards the pillar immediately without having to deal with collecting the Goombas in advance. That's not a big deal at all though. As long as he makes this triple jump over the ice, he will be good to go. And all he needs to get is the moon in the Rango room, the secret moon.
Yep.
Which actually is rarely seen these days, but playing that one optimal looks very, very smooth. But I'm not sure if he's like super confident with the fast strats in that room.
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm not sure. So Rango room is confirmed though. Like that's the moon you go for in this.
Yeah.
Snow Jam.
And actually interesting.
So he probably is comfortable with it if he's kind of the type to not even go for Snow Jam, or at least historically it's not gone for Snow Jam a lot.
Oh, so Sefaro with the good Goomba ING.
Alright,
Being able to walk under that pillar, having the Goombas basically walk towards him. And Tylo going through Goomba room right now, definitely not the most optimal movement. Definitely interesting to say. Oof, that was super
Okay,
close.
that was a bit of a sketchy angle, I gotta say, like.
Oh,
Sefaro missing the moon, sliding a bit on the ice, kind of losing his grip. No. Mario has like very similar shoots to the Goomba, but apparently they don't work the same.
Not exactly. But Tylo is through with Snow. Interestingly enough, actually, I think before I joined this community, the first like speedrun clip I ever saw was Minyash messing around with like strats in the Rango room. Rip Rango room. But he had like crazy stuff that no one actually ever started doing. Like it would still be way faster than what Tylo just did. Not enough to like be faster than Snowden, but crazy stuff. Like, yeah, one of the first speedrun clips I watched back in like January or something.
Wow. All these things that like with the game like Odyssey, it's so much more like freeform. There's so many different things you can do. Like, you know, I'm from Mario 64 mostly, so like everything has been like known for like many years. But in Odyssey, you can always find like a bunch of new creative ways to do things. Sometimes they're faster, sometimes they're not, but they look cool. Snow Jam for Sefaro. Let's see what he's got. There he goes, saving some sweet time over TiloTech.
Gaining in these seconds, and Tylo actually having a little bit of an issue with that climb there, not falling back down.
Sefaro was pretty close to actually not making it back to the Odyssey. I don't know if you realized.
Yeah, he was. I think with the long jump, it kind of looks close. It is still fair to get. Usually, optimally, you want to do like a roll cancel, like vector, where you gain massive air momentum, but not too easy. Obviously, if you miss that roll cancel, you just fall. So something that not everybody might want to deal with. But that's not Mshuri obviously saving time over Tylo, especially with the way his Rango room played out. But now both of them are going to be going through Seaside. And Tylo already collected the first 3 moons, which, especially this third one, can be quite tricky to deal with. And then depending on what strat he's going to use for nodes, that can be another difficult one.
Yeah, I think he actually landed a bit behind the moon and he had to readjust in midair.
Yeah, that's so weird because this room kind of...
Oh, Rock Tower Sword's coming out of TiloTech, riding that invisible jet ski.
Probably going to be going for an additional ground pound here, just barely before grabbing the moon. It looks like he gets it in time. Very nicely done.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty clean Rock Tower Swords here. Gonna skip grabbing the Gushin.
Nice. Not having to deal with any unfortunate waves. Also getting the upper cheap sheep. That's actually rarely seen. You need to like time your spin throw. You actually need to get kind of lucky to get that. And that's just a little bit more optimal because you do capture the fish earlier.
Never knew that.
It's super minor though. We are probably talking frames here, but it's always nice to see if that happens.
Yeah, the more you know. TiloTech going through the tunnel. Sefaro taking that tricky moon in the... Ooh, okay, side room.
It was interesting. Such a high cap throw, but still being able to land on top of that cap.
Yeah. TiloTech is just kind of cleaning up. Okay, Sefaro kind of rolling into the ball. Always saw his Zamaz.
That actually looked so funny. Dude, Sefaro was actually giving Mario a headache. Okay, not going to be dealing with any flower rocket storages here.
Yeah, Mario's probably dealing with a bit of nausea. Maybe feeling like he's swimming around in his thoughts a little bit here. Not really sure how to collect himself. Going for the Gushin. Even more confused. Alright. TiloTech, meanwhile, is already done with Seaside. So, you know, playing it pretty safe here in kind of the MSSL part, and it's paid off so far.
Yeah, the MSS part is done. However, the L part is where potentially the big L can actually happen.
The big L.
Yeah, Luncheon, surely the kingdom with the most amount of small time eaters. Like, all that lava around the stage where you can take damage and then get damage refilled on the moon. Obviously very awkward to deal with terrain where you can just slide off. Sefaro even bonking with the fish. Dude, he really... I don't know. He like kind of wants to give Mario a headache, it seems like.
Floundering a bit underwater. Not really connecting mind and body with the cheap tube, you know, a bit detached. Not really on the same page here, despite having total control. Alright, killing some random seaweed to get this moon.
Yeah, I like learned 3 days ago that they're actually called combo or combos or something. For some reason, Nintendo gives every enemy a name, even though sea bacon sounds way cooler. But let's see.
Sea bacon? I like sea bacon.
It's sea bacon, let's be real. But Tylo not having an issue with that salt triple jump. Getting that immediately. Ooh, still being able to keep himself up top. Can be pretty awkward to deal with that salt pile.
Alright, TiloTech gets start to the big L kingdom.
Yeah, let's see if he can get as the smallest amount of L possible.
Yeah.
That's really daunting.
So, pretty straightforward spirit fight. There's not really like I think like this strategy's been the same for as long as I can remember. There's not really much else you can do.
Yeah, the spirit fight, true. That has been
Like-
probably been around since like November, so like a year-old strat, literally. Which is for this game obviously crazy. You brought up earlier how this is like would still be like a new find for SF64 these days. But yeah, this is one of the oldest strats ever. Like the throw your head behind and then backflip. The thing is just Spewart, I don't know how he was able to survive for that long. I mean, we know of ways how to route him out, but it's just not fast enough at all. He just looks like for now he's going to be staying in until we actually find some crazy way to perform the meat skip, which is a pretty crazy glitch. And if that actually gets found, the game is going to change entirely, like the way we run. We would probably like go to Wooded first, go to Luncheon, and then later when we revisit Luncheon, we just leave immediately because we already collected a lot of the moons. But potentially crazy stuff still on the horizon for this game.
Get my knowledge about that. I love like all the theory side of everything, you know.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
All this kind of brunchin and luncheon routing is just a lot of fun to talk about here.
Yeah, it can get crazy. I remember when we actually realistically thought about doing it, and I spent like 3 days straight just getting clips and like timing, and just to find out that we are still like 12 seconds off an optimal launch without it, which is actually kind of close for how ridiculous that route is. Like going to the island and then jumping back to the main island and using Goombas to climb the volcano. And it's actually that close just because how slow the spirit fight is.
Yeah, we highlighted a whole conversation in the time that took Sefaro to do that spirit fight, you know?
Exactly.
TiloTech, in the meantime, got the bonk on the stove pot. You know, Sefaro bonking in, you know, seaside a bit, but TiloTech... Okay, oh no! 1 HP! Yeah, okay. I should pay a bit more attention here. TiloTech, make me wake up a bit, you know, don't want to be burning the food I left on the stove in kind of a metaphorical sense.
Exactly. Well, Seth almost also taking a little bit of a dip in the lava there in that sub room, just barely saving himself. But yeah, rolling there makes it really awkward to recover, and Tilo just barely having enough distance to still get back to the island, which would have been pretty detrimental for him. Pretty bad.
How do you say the name of the fireball? Is it like Podobo?
Yeah, Podoboo, I think is how it's pronounced. And Tilo trying to fling over there, not getting it. But yeah, once again, Nintendo trying to be like creative and naming things that you could just name Fireball. A weird name.
Maybe it makes sense in Japanese, but just doesn't translate.
But then again, that like the ogre thing that we groundbought in Bowser's is called Stairface Ogre. Well, I'm not sure where I see the sense of that, but that's just Nintendo. But let's see though, TiloTech looks like he's gonna be coming up at the next story mode. It looks like he's gonna be going for a turnip clip attempt.
Yeah, we see a kind of Kobe out of
a mini Kobe. The mini Kobe getting the
a bit of a layup there, you know, off of the backboard.
Oh, this position is off though. I'm not sure if he can clip. Maybe just barely. No, this looks too far away. He probably needs to reset up. He's losing time right now. This should work if he gets the Pandro to stick between. Not being able to recapture
again, though. Oh no!
He's not making it through right now.
Turnip clip
here.
No, Sefaro falling down on Fork's room as well. Both them dropping plenty of spaghetti in the stove pot. That is luncheon, the big L Kingdom, as the God L Limb Cube will probably. I don't know. I'll just call it that from now on. I don't know why not.
Why not, dude? Yeah. The thing is, damn, the amount of time that Tilo lost on that turnip clip is actually pretty crazy. Like, usually you'd think that might have lost him like 10 seconds, but he probably lost like 25 seconds or something. It sounds ridiculous right now, but the way he had to like try to clip like 3 times, reset up, missed again, wasn't able to recapture, was a really big time loss.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense when you put it that way.
But
Sefaro has a really big opportunity for him. This is something he needs to grab onto and just hold it tightly if he wants a chance in this race. This is a must. Down throw and into the cage.
What, the pan is actually really exploding on screen?
Yeah, dude. That's a bit nuts. Sefaro, you know, it's just looks TiloTech. He's like, yeah, all right, you know, let me just show you how it's done.
Yeah, that was crazy. Well done, and definitely saving a pretty big amount of time over Tilo on this one. Tilo's still with the lead here.
Bro, I mean, actually, just the pain was still in the frame after the cutscene ended.
True.
All right.
Still holding on to that. This looks like Sefaro will be also going for that wall strategy here, where you basically do a spin point into the cap, gets it. If he gets that last movement of the kingdom, he can be happy about this one, just of the way how this tournament clip played out for him.
Yes, we died like twice in this.
Yeah.
During that moon.
This can be really hard to get fast. But let's see, making it up top.
I love in that movement there's just a tiny little outcropping of rock. Yeah.
Yeah, and it does look cool, but if you do have to perform it yourself, it gets really scary because the game doesn't really want you to be up there, and if you miss it just by a tiny bit, you like bonk or slide down, and it's a pretty weird place to fall. And you can actually do a little backup where even if you hit the lava, you can like run up the slope, but definitely not what you want to be dealing with.
Yeah, definitely not. So Tylo was able to survive the luncheon, going into ruined, definitely a breather after all the hot stuff that was just going on. Like, even though term clip was a bit of a catastrophe, like, he still got a good lead over Sefaro, and like, we're kind of getting the point where, ruined shouldn't see any surprises, as it's all about the mech and the Bowsers and the escape.
Right. Yesterday we did see, I think it was Rhea being at 1 HP on the very last hit of that fight. And this is where things can get really scary, because in most cases, a death on the last phase in this kingdom guarantees a loss in a race with like players like that close to each other as far as skill level goes. Because even though arguably Tylo is like a minute ahead, or like 50 seconds, at death they lose like 2 or more. So
shoutouts to the world record holder.
Exactly. Econ really showing off what this kingdom can go wrong in all places.
So TiloTech popping a couple hearts, just in case it does come down to that, they'll have plenty of comfy HP to deal with this.
So Tylo being on the second phase, as Sefaro is starting up his fight, so the minute probably being a realistic number, maybe even a little bit less. These first phases don't take too long. The last one, and obviously the ginormous multi-moon cutscene, is what really makes this kingdom slow. It's actually interesting to think about that this kingdom optimally is like 3 minutes and 16 seconds or something.
16? Okay, I didn't.
Like just the best theoretical way, but like 17 is probably realistic for like a really good one in RTA. But there's so like in Lost Kingdom, we get this done in like 2 minutes and 8 seconds, and we get 10 moves in that time, where we basically get 3 of this dragon.
TiloTech wiping him out though. You never really know why the dragon's there, or like what really happens afterwards. You just it's a one and done. You just get it done and you leave. It's a bit of an interesting kind of change of pace from the rest of the game.
Yeah, cool surprise in casual play.
Yeah. Oh, it's for sure. Like, I had no idea that this is actually a thing. When I played it for the first time, I was like, "What is this? Is this Mario, dude? Holy crap!" It was actually really cool.
To be fair, it is nice to be in the run, especially as far as attempts go. You brought up earlier how this is kind of like a breather for runners. You can kind of unwind and chill a little bit. So that's nice, I guess.
So coming up here for the final phase. One thing that does kind of bug me is like the asymmetry of this last phase. They couldn't put like one more Ankh on the left.
True.
It's a bit weird, like phase 3, but it's just more of the same. Nothing really new happens in the boss fight. Once you go from the casual to the speedrunning perspective, you're like, oh, this is just pretty bland. Same with like the Bowser in Moon. It is just the same as the Cloud fight.
True. However, there is the fast head grabs, obviously, which is definitely not a casual strat.
No.
But no really impressive ways to speed up the fight. But Tylo is going to be starting up in Bowser's Kingdom here. And this is probably going to be the place where he's most nervous in, because even though Moon can lose you quite a bit of time everywhere, this is where things are actually very hard to play optimally.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this goes. First Moon definitely being a little bit easier than the rest. Shards is where the difficulty starts rising up.
Yeah, Shard is one of the most technical movement parts of the kingdom, and maybe even in the whole game if you want to like break it down into kind of small sequences. TiloTech missing the stairface ogre, as I've heard it's called.
Yeah, the stairface ogre, but also unintentional side flip there on top, like kind of disrespecting the ogre in all ways and still getting it, which is nice, but it could have ended it a little bit less good for him. But yeah, Shards arguably, like I remember Acrid, who's also a top runner of this game, he used to do like runs just of Shards for like 3 days, just because of how technical that is and how much stuff you can do to like improve that.
Yeah, especially at the top level, you know, we'll probably see people actually not try to push the limits, but you know, people go for those really kind of almost YOLO homing throws where you really have to shake at a good time and in a good position. TiloTech, not even relying on the homing throw, he's actually going to go all the way down there and let the cap make a secure contact here. Third shard coming out pretty easy, so TiloTech actually really not wanting to take any risks, although that one was a pretty good homing throw. And hitting the last one, so TiloTech getting it done in shards.
Yeah, surely. Just once again opting for these safer strats.
Oh, roll cancel failed into the moon. Oh well.
Getting the roll cancel, getting the jump, but not holding the right angle, so basically just flying by. But once again, you brought up earlier how this homing throw at the very start is actually quite massive. You can save a lot of time if you do go for it. Dropping down is just a little bit too slow, but obviously also very safe. So once again, respectable decision here. Actually, it is looking kind of tight, but Shards is just such a long section that Tylo is still on a comfortable...
Oh, no,
actually
Sefar, he's falling down. Can he get back up?
There's no way.
Okay,
there's no
Tylo. Wow.
way.
How did he
save then? What even happened? I couldn't even see. I don't even know what he did. How? What?
Okay,
he was like in the air for like an hour.
Yeah, I think he like, well, I think when he fell off, he's like, okay. So then he turned around, wall jumped, then like threw Cappy, or like maybe landed on Cappy, then did like a wall jump, and then dove on like the little platform where you get it from the other side, and then he was able to like slide it back up to the moon. That was insane.
The crazy thing,
almost put this neck and neck again.
The crazy thing is that I think he really wall jumped from one wall to the other wall to save that, which is like so small of a chance that actually happened, but it did end up happening. As you said, really crucial for him to save himself there, because Seth is still right behind him.
Yeah, and let's not forget, Tyler's got a lot to play for. Sefaro would be a big dub.
Oh,
you know, he's a really good player. Oh,
going for the capture warp there on Sefaro and getting it, saving a little bit of time with that strategy. Obviously against what happened to Tylo.
Yeah. So both of them going for Harriet first. No love for the Topper gang. It's all about Harriet today, at least.
Ooh, Tylo getting hit by Topper and suddenly making things a lot closer. This Bowser definitely hasn't been going that well for him.
He has to regen his HP after.
That as well.
Time.
Yeah, if Seth gets a nice Topper, he's kind of like closing that lead, and one fall off of Mech might already be enough for Sefaro to catch up.
Yeah, with the Mecha Wiggler, TiloTech had a bit of a scary situation. He got it under control, but you know, maybe, just maybe, it won't go so well in this time.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got a lot to play for, and he's got to execute.
And as always, especially in a race with around that lead, Mech is going to be everything. We've seen so many races decide on this, especially on this level, you get nervous and then suddenly, and I know the field so well, being a runner of this myself. Oh, Seth actually also not getting the fastest, but just taking damage once and kind of able to back this up without Topper going all over the place. So pretty similar as far as this Topper goes, also having to deal with that back damage refill animation.
TiloTech, you know, the camera's kind of working against you for that specific jump. Alright, with the bird, I'm not really sure what he's trying to do there. More like attack helicopter, but like in avian form.
You can actually go for like a fast strat there if you fling yourself to the right, sticking yourself to this like little thing of like ground. I don't even know why the bird is able to stick. But this is just barely saving time, and he didn't actually get it. Looked cool though, the way he like flung himself there. But now this is going to be where execution matters. If he doesn't get the climb here, things will immediately start getting awkward, and obviously I'm pretty sure we won't be seeing.
Alright, let's be watching carefully. TiloTech coming up on the mech here. He's trying to get up. Pretty clean moving right as well. Getting that first hit on Rango. No trouble whatsoever. Just gonna have to recover here. Pretty normal so far. Good hit on Topper as well. TiloTech really out to destroy this mech today. No mercy.
Hopper not being a big issue here for Tylo. Let's see Sefaro climbing up that section where Tylo needs to wait for the mech to get back into position. But now the setup is going to be quite different. He's going to be lining himself up on that little wooden thing. And now he's going to be waiting, ground pounding, getting speared nicely. All he needs to do now is get a quick hit on Harriet. You can actually lose quite a bit of time there missing Harriet.
Let's go hard on the mech, hard in the paint, whatever you want to say. He's got it down. Sefaro,
spin pounds as
whole
well.
mech fight behind. TiloTech, you know, it's not over, but he's really shown he's here to play today.
For sure. If Sefaro wants any chance at all, though, he does still need to get through this mech fight, and he does get a nice climb, gets a nice topper spin point as well. If he ends up getting Harriet third, then suddenly things get a little bit closer again, especially with the way Moon works. Missing Bowser phases, missing Moon skip, missing stuff in Escape. The race is not over in Moon, especially if you are not even a minute ahead.
Yeah, he's had a lead this whole time. Can he close it out? Can he hold it together? It's a mental game.
Okay, Sefaro is going to be going for Harriet third. He's quite slow on the dives back there. He does get a pretty nice setup. Can he actually make that spin pound work? And gets it. Nicely done.
Sefaro, not to be outdone. Can be heading up to Moon as well.
Yeah. And I feel like what is interesting to note, though, even though both of them have been making tiny mistakes here and there, and a little bit of a bigger one too, but the main thing that Tylo is capitalizing on in this run is still the lost mistake. That was probably the biggest one. Easily losing more than 30 seconds for Sefaro there, and Tylo still capitalizing on that.
Yeah, for sure. You know, he's actually been able to just keep a steady lead despite his mistakes, like in turnip clip, but Sefaro, his run's not been very good, but like TiloTech, it could have been much worse. We could see these people neck and neck or Tylo behind, but he's actually put together, outside of a couple moments, he's put together a pretty solid showing.
Yeah, for sure. And definitely potentially able to challenge Danster if he was to win this race. Obviously, missing Nutclip is going to be even way scarier against a top level runner like Danster, who is approaching that 101 time. So definitely super scary.
Let's see if TiloTech can get some nice vectors to start out his Moon Kingdom on the right foot. They're okay. Not really going for the dive over the gap.
Yeah, you can make it. You can make it to the other side, but I think his vectors were not good enough for that. Let's see if he can get nice rolls over. You do want to grab both of the flowers as well. Moonskip is the bigger one, even though it is easy. This is something you do not want to miss on the pace.
Not getting the second flower.
If he knows what to do here, which is just rolling, and he's probably going to be opting for another vector triple jump. Not really getting a lot of speed out of this one though. But let's look at Moonskip.
All right. Good positioning.
Interesting cap throw, but he should not have an issue.
And a nice run around for a bit more optimal of a dive. So TiloTech, at least getting that part.
Very nice use of that single jump there. Definitely a little bit more scary to get it that way, but moving along while gaining height. So nicely done. Sefaro having a little bit of an awkward moon vector as well, but making it over Tylo.
Looks like he wasn't really sure like if he actually wanted to go across or like do what Tylo did.
Yeah, he just didn't really get enough momentum. It's fine. Tylo is the one who's going to be deciding the fate of this race because he is dealing with a comfortable lead. Bowser and Escape still in his way.
Yeah. Giving him the old 1-2 with the boxing hat. You know, it's a bit comical, but you know, it is that kind of game. Bowser trying to be like both scary, but also just not really at the same time.
Yeah,
bit of
especially with this wedding suit. To be honest, the music in this fight is super hype, so that's something you can't take away.
That's true. I love the Odyssey soundtrack. Like, I mean, I love like most Mario music, like soundtracks and stuff, but you know, there's some really great themes in Odyssey.
But yeah, we will see if Tylo's actually going to be able to clutch this out. So Sefaro getting the first set nicely. Tylo still needs to hit Bowser again to actually close out the fight, and then he's going to be approaching the 2D section in the escape and the escape in general.
Needs to figure out a way to skip 2 Bowser phases.
He's going to find the biggest skip of the century. Doesn't seem likely. This fight is very scripted.
Just pull out a Daisy stick, run into the Ring of Fire, and grind it into Bowser's like butt or whatever you do in Zelda.
That's such an amazing idea. We need to do that immediately. But probably not having the time to lap this one out in this race.
Yeah.
Tylo is already done with the fight, and he's about to capture Bowser for his final run through the escape section. The two things that are probably on his mind right now is just get through to 2D skip and don't meme around in pillars. And that should be really it. Other than that, he should be good to go. Like, he can get a pretty solid 104 time and advance into the next round of the losers, which is going to be a race against Danstar if he does clutch it out.
Yeah, the falling debris is giving him a bit of trouble. He has to claw a bit of it away, but still managing to get his triple jump right where it needs to be. You know, if it was a bit more awkward, then maybe he would have had to like just go around, but it's all good.
Okay, this is the last time where he probably kind of holds onto his breath. Just play it safe, just play it clean. Oh, actually, I'm not sure if he did that intentionally. Almost looked like it, but hey, honestly, I can't really say much. It's probably one of the only things that could have cost him the race, or maybe not even dealing with it.
Yeah, it looks like, you know, maybe he was just saying not to go for it. It's like we can all look here and say like, oh, why not go for it? But like, you know, you never know what would happen, and it's like, it would, you know, it's a what if, right? We know he got the slow strat.
And to be honest, realistically, like just in terms of looking at this as a competition, as a race competition, it is the smarter play. I can't even say much. If he knows if that he's ahead by that much, it's a smarter play to just play it safe. You can arguably say that casual's movement is almost as hard or just as hard as doing the 2D skip, but still, I can respect it. Sefaro going for it, getting it nicely.
Tylo not being around on these pillars either. He's hit pretty much every fireball he's shot so far. One more claw shot to get the third one, and TiloTech gonna close out a mid 104, moving on to face Danstar. And you know what was scary at times, but showing his poise as a runner to keep a pretty steady lead over Sefaro, who's a really good player in his own right. And gonna be wrapping up with probably a low 105 if I, you know,
around that,
if nothing bad happens. But yeah, we're gonna see TiloTech moving on.
That GG. I'd say. But this is going to be it. TiloTech stopping his timer with a 104.30. Going to be advancing into the next round versus Danstar, as you just brought up. And this is going to be just as much of an amazing race as well. And I mean, I guess what we mentioned earlier, the upset kind of happened here. And we also mentioned how this is not exactly like the biggest upset, because it wouldn't have been, it wasn't really the biggest surprise that Tylo won. Obviously, Sefaro making a pretty hefty mistake there and lost. But still, maybe Tylo can get even further into this. We'll see if he's playing even better against Danstar and just even gets the nut clip as well. He might suddenly have very nice chances to challenge Danstar for that higher spot there in the loser bracket. But I think he's joining us right now. Sefaro is as well for these post-game interviews. But let me start with Tylo real quick. GG's on the win.
Thank you.
104.30. Tell me about that race. Tell me about... I feel like it was going very well, actually. Pretty solid stuff other than Wooded, but I want to hear from you.
That mid-game was actually pretty insane. Like Metro until Seaside was really good. I golded Metro, 1 second of Golden Snow, and golded Seaside. So
1 second of Golden Snow. So you actually don't do Snowdrum in runs yet?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, that's interesting, because we thought we said earlier how that potentially was a thing that you decided to just not do because you knew you were in the lead. But were you actually like aware of how much you were in the lead?
The thing about Snowdrum is, like, I really want to try and get sub 5 like Snow before. I don't know, it's just a goal for me.
Yeah, like I can see that getting like an arbitrary goal before you start doing it.
Even though I failed Nutclip, like I was 42 seconds behind my PB in Wooded, but after Seaside I was only 13 seconds behind. So after Seaside, that actually had PB potential.
It was really only like Wooded and then maybe Turnip Clip and like you could have actually got it.
That's another thing. Yeah, I messed up turning clip. I lost 20 seconds to turning clip. But yeah, other than that, that was a pretty actually good run. Like I feel like that might have PB'd if I hadn't messed up so much in wooden. Actually,
Yeah, I gotta say this is a good storyline for you. Coming out, maybe falling in the losers bracket, but you've already taken games. You're making a bigger run. How do you think you can face Dansta now? Are you feeling up to the challenge?
So Dansta is actually a guy I've been actually racing a lot before.
Okay.
So my actual goal for this race was to actually win against Sefaro, and then race Dansta in the next round. And I'm really happy that I actually got to win against Sefaro actually. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like I think it'll be an interesting race for sure.
Looking forward to it.
I can't wait to see it as well. But Seth, let me get to you really quickly here. Obviously, actually, what I do want to say now, thinking about the time that you got at the end there, which is still pretty low, 105, it is kind of insane how what can happen. You actually didn't get nut clip. You didn't get. You obviously had that mistake and lost, but the rest was still solid enough to still get a pretty solid time at the end, I think.
Even then, I don't think the rest was even solid, close to being solid. I thought the whole run was atrocious, but like, yeah. It's like no surprise I lost playing like that. Like a lot of times I just brain farted, especially in forks. A couple of gold paces maybe. I think Moon was pretty good until I just couldn't do early pillar.
Yeah, to be honest, I do think though. I mean, obviously we did see quite a lot of bonks between Mario probably getting a little bit like lightheaded there on Seaside as he like bonked underwater for some interesting reason. But I do still think that the general movement was good enough and looking impressive enough to still deserve a 105 time, which is, even though not probably the standard you're looking for anymore for some people.
Definitely, yeah. I just 105s don't cut it anymore. It has to be 104.
It has.
I think
to
I
be.
could have 104 still, even with all those mistakes, like and lost and wooded, but I just couldn't pull it out. I think the lost mistake was really stupid. I definitely it was my fault. I don't know why, I just delayed it too much on the dive, and then I was like, oh no, I can try and go for the thing I was working on, and then I bonked.
But yeah, Mario likes bonking. By the way, one thing I'm still not really understanding, I'm not sure if you even noticed, Tylo, but in Wooded, when you entered the tower, you dove, and then you got a ledge grip. I don't even know how that worked, because I was sure you would bonk.
Yeah, I was almost like, oh no, I'm gonna bonk.
Sometimes I think it's because there's a frame where you might either get a wall jump, but maybe he was too close to the ledge and it gives him a ledge grab.
Yeah, actually, you had kind of the same thing happening, Seb. I'm not sure if you noticed, but in Lost, at the bridge, you dove and you kind of slid along the wall while being in the dive, but didn't bonk.
That's just the way you can actually do that dive. A certain that you can slide along that wall when you dive.
For some reason,
I do that regularly. There's some odd times where it'll kind of clip me and I'll bonk.
But yeah, that would really I almost jumped out of my chair because I thought I was gonna bonk. It was I was actually really surprised that I didn't bonk.
Pretty interesting stuff still happening in Super Mario Odyssey, and we are gonna be calling it for this one. TiloTech taking the win. Sefaro not advancing in the tournament, but still having a solid enough showing, in my opinion. We are going to be going offline for a little bit. This is not going to be the last race for today, but since the next race is only starting in 2.5 hours, we are going to be going offline for a little bit, but we are going to be back with more speedrunning content after this little offline time.
Yeah.
So make sure to be back for more.
I also golden stand, by the way, and my last comment, I also got golden stand.
Let's go. TiloTech golding everything. But make sure to be back for Super Metroid in 2.5 hours.
Golden Knight Metro, I think.
Nice. And see you guys in the next one.
Yeah.
Bye.